entire bathroom floor was caving in. And we had to find a way to fix it ourselves without any prior construction experience. It was so stressful. So we had some struggles, and I want to tell you all about them. But before I get ahead of myself, I'm Nick, and I bought this cheap Victorian house a little over a year ago for $24,000. My partner and I moved from Los Angeles all the way to rural Pennsylvania. We've never visited before, and our first time seeing the house was the first day we moved in. So when we first moved in, the bathroom was actually such a small room. It was updated in the 90s. It definitely didn't fit in with the house. So the main problem with this room and the room next to it was the whole floor was caving in. So this is the first bathroom. I want to turn this room into the laundry room. The floor is slanting toward the tub though, so I believe we have to level the floor. The plan for the bathroom was to bring it back to the Victorian era. Like, we wanted the clawfoot tub, the cool toilet and all that. But before we did any of that, my partner was like, why don't we just turn the small bedroom beside the bathroom into our main bathroom? We started to demolish that bathroom and the room next to it. The demo was crazy. There was so much stuff that we had to break through and throw out. So one was the center wall. It was all plaster and lath, which was really fun to take down, but very messy. Also, the ceilings were lath and plaster, but above the ceiling was so much soot. We filled up so many dumpsters of debris, bathtub, wood, plaster, all this stuff. We had like 4 or 5 dumpsters come once a week and just take things away. It all went well until we had to start ripping up the floor. We discovered there was some linoleum floor on the very bottom, and it tested positive for asbestos. So that closed down our whole demo until we could get that remediated. So like I mentioned, the floor was sloping, but also the floorboards, the original ones, were bowing. If we were to push it up from under, we would risk cracking all of our plaster, offsetting our windows, offsetting our doors. And this is like common practice. Some people, would jack up the floor and then kind of support the joists, and then they call it a day, but we couldn't do that process. We had to rip off the antique floor because we knew that we wanted to put tile, for one, because we didn't want wood floor that was bowing in a wet bathroom, but also it wasn't going to fix itself if we kept it bowing. So we cut it out. I saved what I could to repair what I needed to elsewhere in the house, and we said goodbye to that wood floor. R.I.P., R.I.P. We were actually so glad that, the demo was done and that we could see everything with our own eyes, because stripping everything back to the source is the best way to diagnose an old house, in my opinion. So the first step to securing the floor was getting rid of the old joists. A plumber from the olden times just hacked all the joists to put a plumbing line through and left us with very little joists. On top of that though, they were also rotted because there was a leak, a pipe burst in the winter, and it just corroded the wood. And they were so bad, you could just stick a screwdriver through. So we just said RIP. And then we got some new full span joists out of, I believe it was LVL wood, and we propped it up. And that was just for the first 2 joists. We replaced them completely. The next 3 or so, we put the same joists against the old joists and screw them in, and that's called sistering. It's when you put a more structural joist or piece of wood onto the failing piece, and it secures it forever. So that's what we did for the rest of them. This was crazy hard because they were heavy, but once we did the first 2, we got the hang of it, and it was easy after that. So the next thing that we had to do after everything was nice and level was put a new subfloor. So the subfloor, we chose this Advantech subfloor that is a water resistant one, and it's super flat and super strong. Ours was like, I think 3/4 of an inch thick, which was the same thickness of the original soft wood subfloors that we had. So we put them down. The way we do this was we just put a little glue on the joists, and then we would put down the subfloor. They're all tongue and groove, so they all kind of click together. And then we took some screws and just screwed them down into the joists, and then we had a perfectly level subfloor, which was great. I don't consider this bathroom to be a restoration, but a reimagination of a bathroom from that time period. So I designed the floor on Photoshop, and we wanted this bathroom to feel like a little bit of a fairy tale. It's like a subtle nod to it, but also there's this obsession between my partner and I with beetles. So I knew that I wanted to incorporate beetles into the design. I sourced each of these tiles from different distributors, and that's why I needed so many samples. This is the tile design that I want, but these are all samples. All of them are wrong, and I'm not sure what to do. I'm trying to avoid having them custom made because that's going to cost a fortune. But basically this is how it goes. So this is going to be the wall tile. We drove 3 hours to get this. And here are all the sizes that we need, but all the colors and sheens are off. So like the black is too shiny, this is too white, this white doesn't match this white, and this blue is a little too bright. These ones here, not this one, these 3 are the perfect color that we're looking for. Colors, like a cream, a matte black, and like a dusty blue. But these don't come in these sizes, so these are completely out, even though they're perfect. This is a sample of the design. We love the black, but we hate the white. And also these don't match with these, so we can't mix and match because these ones are smaller than this. So it's just a whole lot of problem, whole lot. So the process of making this mosaic took so long. And this is what we did. When we received the tile, they were already on sheets of mesh. And that is convenient for the modern contractor, but we always have to make it a little hard on ourselves. When you look at tiles from back at the turn of the century, the grout line is so small, which really does make a difference. So when you get them, they're usually like 1/8 of an inch, the grout line, but we needed them spaced apart 1/16 of an inch. So we did the unthinkable. We took each tile off of its mesh that it was glued on, and that hurt so much. My fingers were literally bleeding by the end of the day. After doing that, I discovered that soaking them in water released all of the tiles so easily. I would just put them in water for 5 to 10 minutes, and they would just fall into the bowl. I would strain them out. We put some plastic wrap on the floor, and over that we put a new mesh. And on top of that, we would glue the tiles with weld bond into the pattern that we envisioned. And this took so long. Now, traditionally, what people would do is they'll put a 1/2 inch thick cement board on the floor, and then mortar, and then put the tile on. But we did not want to do that because we did not want to raise the floor. So we found this uncoupling membrane. It's like this mat that has dimples on it. And we knew that we wanted to use this because it barely raises the floor, like that much. So the way we did this, we had to put mortar down on the subfloor. Then we placed the uncoupling membrane on top and rolled it out with a really heavy-duty roller and let it dry. A lot of these uncoupling membranes won't let you use a tile that's smaller than 2 inches. And unfortunately, all of our tiles were 1 inch big. But I called the company and I told them my issue, and he said, "You're able to do that. If you mortar on top of the uncoupling membrane first and let it dry, you'd be able to, add the tiles on top." So that's what we did. So if you do want to put in a floor like this and you don't want the height, I recommend getting the Durell membrane, putting the mortar on top, and then placing your tiles after it dries. Because, these have been on for already a year and nothing's happened. They haven't moved. So we're very pleased with it. So once the substrate was prepared, we had to put mortar on the floor and we placed the tiles one by one. And let me tell you, I can't take credit for laying this floor at all. My partner, he's like a whiz at measuring and making things fit. This whole process frustrated me so much. I would get so much anxiety. I remember one day, I thought I was having a heart attack. I told him, "You have to call the ambulance. I can't deal with this anymore." But anyway, he's such a trooper for laying the floor down and making sure it was perfect. After putting the mortar down, we had to grout. So we used epoxy grout, which is a 2-part grout that dries so quickly. So this was another stressful thing. So we had to mix it a quarter batch at a time. We'd put it down, we'd scrape it, and then we'd have to wash it off. I love that epoxy grout is like permanent, it's durable, it'll never crack, and you never have to clean it. But there definitely is a learning curve to working with it. And I will show you the one that we used. I'll put it down in the link below. It's this product called Ardex epoxy grout in the color charcoal gray. Here is the reveal of our floor. This floor is everything that I could have dreamed of. I remember when we put the first patch of grout, I actually cried because the floor looked so period appropriate. I couldn't believe we did it ourselves. For so long, we were bathing in a bowl. There was a time we had to bathe in the kitchen, and it was just like the grossest kitchen ever. And it was cold, and like all of those moments where it felt like, we were just struggling so much, they kind of just disappeared. It was all like worth it that we had to do all that to get this result. So I was just super, super proud of what we've done. So after we finished the bathroom floor, we had so much that we needed to do, and I'm going to share a lot of it with you in the next episode. I'm actually going to teach you this technique called faux bois, which is a fake wood technique that we used right here on all of the wood that is in the bathroom. Also, if you missed our house tour, you can check it out right here. And if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you at the next one.